and welcome to another Battle Games in Middle-earth painting tutorial. This one is based on requests made by you, dear subscribers, after a poll I posted. If you want to have a say next time, hit that subscribe button. After Rohan War, everyone's feeling scout, so let's paint up the new Uruk Hai Scout Captain. I start by painting absolutely all the material you see in Gorthor Brown. That's every single bit of leather. Just Gorthor it. You see what I did? Then follow on from that with a dry brush or a layer of Leadbelcher. Be a little careful here though. I think in retrospect I should have painted this layer first, and I've done exactly that for the rest of my scouts. So it's worth doing this to speed the stages up. But either way, careful with the dry brush or layer of Leadbelcher. After that I neaten any material up with Gorthor Brown and then crack on with the next layer, this time the flesh tone. I use Doombull Brown for that and slap it on pretty much everywhere. Legs and arms are of course the main bit, but also the bit underneath his jaw. Just be careful for that bit. And actually some of the models do end up being a little bit sneaky because there's a slightly blurred line between material and arm on the shield arms of the usual scout models. So just watch out for that and don't get the wrong brown for the wrong bit of material. And as you can see, right now the leather is looking so last season. Block colours are so out. We need to divide that up with some Mournfang Brown. So I paint the leather belt in that and also the straps on the gloves and on the boots. Onto those gloves then, only a touch of Rhinox Hide required. To be honest, you can get away with painting them in flesh tones on some of the scouts. It's not always clear what's what, whether it's glove or hand, but again, we want a different tone of brown to add some variety to the miniature, otherwise it can just end up looking very plain and one colour. I also paint the haft of his axe in Rhinox Hide too, but of course if you're painting most of the scouts, they don't have any kind of wood on them, but this guy does. After neatening up the metal, we just dump a whole batch of Nuln Oil on the whole model. This is the standard, not the gloss Nuln Oil, and that goes literally everywhere over the model. It really brings out all that texture and basically does all the hard work detailing everything for you. It's really simple, but even so, now's the time to put your feet up. You've earned it. Then wake up, because it's been an hour and you've got toys to paint. As you can see, he's already coming out well after the wash has dried, and I'd say this is already painted to a pretty much an Uruk Hai standard of painting. Thank you very much. But with the original layer of each of those paints, we're going to circle back and do some highlighting. So with Doombull Brown, we paint the skin, only picking out the elbows, muscles and the jaw. And it really helps, to be honest, that these guys are absolute beefcakes. It means there's a lot more to highlight and it's a lot easier to highlight. And the same goes with a Gorthor Brown on the leather. It's dead simple to pick out the highlights because the material is all flowing and kind of folded, and the wash is already gathered in the recesses. I'm basically just spinning around the guy, drawing squares around the pools of Nuln Oil and some lines on the highest crease of the leather. It's pretty simple highlighting. Also, don't forget to pick out the bits on the helmet as well. It's very easy to miss because usually helmets are all metal, but there are definitely bits that aren't on the Uruk Hai Scouts. Even if I do actually do it myself, I cover over one bit that's definitely meant to be metal, which I do again later. Whoops. Using Skrag Brown, I go back to the belt and leather straps just to make them stand out a little bit more. Don't forget these bits. The dividing line is important to balance those two sides of the model. I'm pretty sure there's a Brexit joke to be included there, but we don't want to have a refight of that debate. Or maybe you do. This is why I don't do politics. I just do Middle-earth painting here. With Khemri Brown, I highlight the gloves, which we painted in Rhinox Hide earlier. Again, easy stuff here. Just carefully pick out each finger and give the edges of the glove a bit of a lighter look. Now it's time for real time! I've put this back to normal speed, so this is a 3-minute process here, but I've chopped out every bit of me obscuring the camera, which is a fair amount. But you can see me using Steel Legion Drab to paint gentle lines on the wood to imply that wood grain. Basically never done this before, but I was jealous of some folks' amazing wood. Ooh, misses. Apologies for that. I've tried my best to include even lines and sort of lines up and down the wood, and made a sort of hint at some knots in the wood by painting curves or slight circles. But I must say, it isn't easy. But as you can see though, when I get into the field of focus, it's actually not looking too bad, and it works better when seen at a distance. You'll see the end product in a minute anyway. With Ironbreaker, I go back to the metal and give it a slightly lighter edge highlight, but do be sparing of this. This should only really be for the sharpened edges of the armour, helmet and the sword. Uruks aren't known for their cleanliness after all. Getting close to finish now. Usually I dot the eyes and all that sort of stuff, but it's not really worth bothering here. They're way too shaded inside that helmet. There are some Uruk Hai who have no helmet on, but I think most of them are without a helmet, and it's pretty easy to just dot the teeth. So I do that. So I'll paint the teeth pearly whites, but I do dot them in black as well to give an impression of some vampiric fangs in there. And then, because why not, give the bloke a bit of blood for the blood god on his axe. He never actually manages to do anything with it in the film, but let's redress that indignity with some blood and gore, or any red ink will do. Finally, using Green Stuff World's Leaf Litter Cutter, I make some leaves, flock the base and paint a few different colours. Paint the leaves a few different colours to illustrate Ammon Hen. Then voila! An Uruk Hai Scout captain with two-handed axe. An amazing miniature, I'm sure you'll agree. And it's ace that it's back in production again as part of the new Scout Command set. Of course, feel free to use this style for all Uruk Hai Scouts. And like the video, hit subscribe. Check out the rest of my content as well. And if you fancy having a say in what I make next, very specifically, head over to Patreon and pledge your support, and if you do, I'll message you on that platform and ask you what you fancy most from here and choose exactly what categories you particularly like, whether it's tutorials, painting or anything else. And of course, more gaming videos on their way very soon, and you can check out the rest of my videos here, whether it's some of the older stuff, the old Uruk Hai Scouts or which I've painted before, the old Uruk Hai which I've painted before, which is one of the most viewed videos on the platform, whether it's my gaming tutorials, which I'm doing a lot more of soon, or just a couple of battle reports. There's definitely one more coming in from one of those coming soon. So thanks very much for watching another Battle Games in Middle-earth video.